Welcome to Zoe Stories. My gym trainer made me wear skirts for discipline. The fluorescent lights buzzed faintly overhead as I wiped the sweat from my brow. Another grueling set of squats had left my legs trembling, muscles screaming, and yet I knew I wasn't done.
Not yet.
I had joined this gym to change, physically, mentally, maybe even emotionally. At 20, I was lanky, shy, and painfully aware of how little control I had over my life. The world moved fast, and I often felt left behind, unnoticed. But there was something about fitness, discipline, and pushing limits that gave me a fragile sense of hope. And then there was her, Alexa. She was the new trainer, late 20s, sharp-eyed, impossibly confident, with a body that was the perfect balance of strength and elegance. From the first day, she noticed me. The way I struggled, the way I hesitated, the way I avoided looking anyone in the eye. She didn't just see my body. She saw my vulnerabilities, my weaknesses, and perhaps she enjoyed them. "Focus, Ethan," she said, voice low but commanding, snapping me out of a distracted moment. Her hands rested on my shoulders, steadying me for another set. Discipline isn't just about lifting weights. It's about control over your body, your mind, your instincts. And if you can't respect the rules, well, we'll find another way to teach you. I swallowed hard, a twinge of fear rising in my chest. Her words carried a weight that I didn't understand yet, but I could feel her dominance pressing down on me, subtle and insistent. Weeks passed, and my training intensified. I was pushed harder than I'd ever been, my muscles aching, my confidence shattered, and rebuilt daily. But one afternoon, after yet another mistake, miscounting my reps and slouching through a stretch, she stopped the session abruptly. "Ethan," she said, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my heart race, "discipline isn't just about effort. It's about respect and obedience. You need a reminder." I swallowed nervously. A reminder? I had no idea what she meant. "Take a seat," she commanded.
Now.
I obeyed instantly. She reached into a gym bag and pulled out something that made my blood run cold, a neatly folded plaid mini skirt, delicate but undeniably feminine. "Put this on," she said, voice flat, yet somehow tinged with amusement. "For the rest of your session. And remember every movement, every step, every glance, perfect. Or you start over. Naked." My throat went dry. "Wait, you're joking, right?" Her smile was slow, deliberate, and terrifying. "Do you want to respect the rules, Ethan? Or do you want to be reminded of who's in control?" I hesitated, my pride clashing violently with the rising tide of fear and arousal I didn't want to acknowledge. Her presence was magnetic, intoxicating, and utterly dominating. Slowly, trembling, I stripped down and changed into the skirt. The fabric was soft, unfamiliar, and shockingly intimate against my skin. I felt exposed, not just physically, but emotionally. Every glance at her, every judgmental smirk, every approving nod as she watched me adjust the skirt made my cheeks burn. I couldn't look away from the mirror she had positioned in front of me. The reflection was surreal. Ethan, the shy, awkward boy, stared back at me with wide eyes, and yet, somehow, something else emerged. A tentative, trembling version of doll, a girl shaped by humiliation, obedience, and the magnetic dominance of my trainer. The rest of the session became a test. Squats, lunges, stretches, all movements scrutinized, corrected, and judged. Every misstep earned her sharp commands, and every perfect posture was rewarded with a small smile or nod, a dangerous mix of cruelty and sweetness. "Good, doll," she said once, and my knees buckled slightly at the sound. Doll? She wasn't joking. She had assigned me a new identity. Every word, every glance, every correction cemented it further. I didn't know if I hated her or wanted to please her. Pride and shame warred inside me, twisting into confusion, fear, and an unmistakable thrill. By the end of the session, I was trembling, flushed, and utterly obedient. Alexa folded my skirt neatly, her eyes never leaving mine. "Remember this feeling," she said softly. "This is what discipline looks like. And next time, it might not just be a skirt." I swallowed hard, staring at her. My life, my identity, my very sense of self had shifted in an instant. I didn't know whether to cry, beg, or submit completely. And somewhere deep inside, a part of me knew this was only the beginning. The days after that first session blurred together in a strange mix of anticipation, fear, and curiosity. Every morning, I dreaded the moment Alexa would appear, clipboard in hand, sharp eyes scanning me from head to toe. And yet, a part of me, an unfamiliar, dangerous part, craved her approval. The gym, once just a place of physical exertion, had transformed into a stage of dominance, control, and unspoken rules I was only beginning to understand. Up. Alexa's voice snapped sharply as I struggled to stretch during an early morning warm-up. I jumped, muscles tense. She circled me like a predator, eyes analyzing every flaw. "Doll," she said, her tone softer now but no less commanding. "Knees in. Posture straight. You are not a boy here. You are my student, my creation. Do you understand?" "Yes," I whispered, my voice barely audible, trembling with a mix of shame and a thrill I didn't want to acknowledge.
"Good."
"Again," she commanded, stepping back to observe. Every movement was scrutinized. Every hesitation, every falter, every instinctual reaction reminded me of how far I was from her expectations. But slowly, agonizingly slowly, I began to notice a change. My body, posture, and even expressions were shifting. The way I held myself in the skirt, the subtle arch of my back, the way I lowered my eyes, it all felt natural. A week later, she added a new element: public observation. She brought me to the main area of the gym during peak hours, forcing me to wear the skirt while performing exercises under the gaze of others. My heart hammered, my face flushed crimson. Every glance from strangers felt like a scalpel on my pride. "Show them, doll," she whispered. "You are disciplined, graceful, and obedient. Let them see perfection in motion." I moved cautiously, following her instructions. Lunges, stretches, squats, all performed with a feminine grace she insisted upon. I could feel the stares, hear whispers, and sense judgment. Shame and thrill mingled in a confusing swirl inside me. By the end of the session, I was exhausted, trembling, and oddly exhilarated. Alexa's approving nod cemented a new reality. Doll wasn't just a role, she was emerging. Back in the private training area, she directed me toward a full-length mirror. My reflection startled me. Doll's eyes stared back, wide, nervous, but undeniably feminine. My body looked different, softer, and yet stronger in this new, submissive posture. "Do you see?" Alexa asked, circling behind me. "This is who you are becoming. Every movement, every glance, every subtle gesture is shaping you. Daniel, he's fading. Doll is emerging." Tears pricked my eyes. I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or collapse. Shame and fascination battled inside me. And yet, beneath it all, a strange, unnameable thrill pulsed, a desire to please her, to be molded, to obey. Weeks passed in a rhythm of discipline and psychological manipulation. Mistakes were punished creatively, extra laps, public exposure, or corrective exercises while wearing skirts and feminine gym wear. Successes were rewarded subtly: a soft touch on the shoulder, a compliment whispered in my ear, a smile that made my knees weak. The push and pull of cruelty and sweetness reshaped me. Every humiliating moment, every gentle correction, every gaze of approval chipped away at Daniel's old self. Doll emerged in his place, obedient, graceful, nervous, and yet intoxicatingly feminine. One evening, after an intense training session, I sat alone in front of the mirror, exhausted. Doll's reflection was undeniable. Soft curls framing my flushed face, a delicate skirt accentuating my legs, eyes wide with a mix of shame and longing. I don't know who I am anymore," I whispered, voice breaking. Alexa appeared behind me, brushing a strand of hair from my cheek. "You're Doll," she said softly. "Beautiful, obedient, disciplined. Daniel is gone. And soon, the world will see you as I intended. You will survive this, and you will learn to love it." I shivered. Obedience, humiliation, pleasure, and shame collided violently in my chest. Doll had emerged fully in small, tentative steps, and yet, Daniel's voice, a faint whisper, still lingered, confused and resisting. As I looked at my reflection, trembling and uncertain, Alexa's voice cut through the room. Tomorrow, doll, you will perform for the first time outside this gym. Public eyes, admiration, exposure, all for discipline. Are you ready to show the world who you have become? My stomach twisted with fear and anticipation. Public attention, intimate manipulation, and obedience had pushed me to my limits. Doll had emerged, but Daniel still clung faintly to the edges of my mind. The next step, the true test, was approaching. The day started like any other, but I could feel the tension coiling in my chest as soon as I stepped into the gym. Alexa's presence was electric, commanding, and merciless. She didn't speak immediately, just observed me from across the room, eyes scanning every detail of my posture, my skirt, the way I held my hands, the subtle tremor in my legs. Today, doll, she finally said, voice soft but piercing, you leave this room. You leave this gym. And the world will see you. Every step, every glance, every movement is your test. I froze, heart pounding. Leave the gym? Public exposure? My body trembled with fear and anticipation. Alexa handed me a small gym bag. Inside was my uniform for the day, a pleated mini-skirt, a fitted top that emphasized my new feminine shape, thigh-high stockings, and soft ballet flats. My face was to be made up and my hair styled into delicate waves. Do it properly, she instructed. I want perfection. You are not Daniel today. You are doll. Beautiful. Obedient. Visible. I obeyed mechanically, hands trembling as I slipped into the outfit. The fabric was soft, unfamiliar, and intimate against my skin. Every brush of the stockings, every tug of the skirt, made me painfully aware of my exposed state. I avoided looking at the mirror at first, but Alexa's insistence forced me to confront my reflection. Doll stared back at me, soft features framed by curls, wide eyes filled with trepidation, lips slightly parted, body small yet graceful. A strange thrill and a deep shame twisted inside me. The gym was unusually crowded that afternoon. Alexa led me to the entrance, heels clicking softly against the polished floor. Every eye that fell on me seemed to dissect me, judging me, admiring me. I felt raw, exposed, vulnerable. Smile, doll, she whispered, her hand resting lightly on my back. Elegance.
Grace.
Obedience. Remember who you are. I forced a delicate, trembling smile, aware of every stare, every whisper. My heartbeat raced, cheeks burning, as strangers whispered and glanced. Doll was alive and the world could see her. Alexa had prepared a routine, exercises, stretches, and poses performed in front of the crowd. Every misstep earned a correction, a sharp glance, or the dreaded humiliation, a pause, a verbal reminder, or a subtle exposure of my vulnerability. Wider stance. Chin up. Move gracefully, doll, she instructed, voice sweet yet cutting. My body moved, trembling, careful, trying desperately to embody the feminine grace she demanded. Sweat rolled down my spine, stockings clinging uncomfortably, muscles screaming. Every movement was a test of control, discipline, and submission. By mid-session, I was on the brink. My legs wobbled, face flushed, and every whispered compliment from strangers felt like both a dagger and a bomb. I can't, I murmured, voice cracking. Alexa knelt beside me, hands on my shoulders. You can, doll. You will. This is discipline. This is control. This is what makes you perfect. Tears streamed down my cheeks as humiliation and exhilaration collided. My body was exposed, my identity fractured, yet a strange thrill pulsed through me. Doll had begun to replace Daniel entirely. To cement her control, Alexa introduced the ultimate test, a lap around the crowded gym in full outfit, performing stretches and poses for everyone to see. My body burned, heart racing, cheeks crimson, yet every movement was precise, scrutinized, and corrected. You belong to the world now, doll, she whispered. Every eye, every stare, every thought is your lesson. Obedience isn't optional. I obeyed, trembling, hips swaying delicately, movements measured and submissive. Strangers whispered, stared, and some smiled in admiration. Shame and thrill burned together. Daniel was fading. Doll was alive. Back in the private training room, Alexa forced me to look into the mirror. Doll's reflection stared back, flushed, trembling, vulnerable, and undeniably feminine. "Do you see?" she asked softly. "This is who you are. Daniel is gone. Doll is emerging fully. You survived your first public test. And soon the world will see you even more." I shivered. Shame, thrill, fear, and an unfamiliar desire to obey twisted inside me. Doll was taking over, piece by piece, under her careful, cruel guidance. As I removed my skirt and stockings, exhausted and trembling, Alexa's eyes gleamed with control and satisfaction. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "you will meet someone new, a boy who will see Doll for the first time outside the gym. And we'll see how obedient, how perfect you truly are." My stomach twisted with dread and anticipation. Public exposure, intimate humiliation, and obedience had pushed me to my limits. Doll had emerged, but Daniel still lingered faintly at the edges of my mind. The next step, the ultimate test, was coming. The following morning, my nerves were taut as strings. Alexa had instructed me to arrive early, in full Doll attire, the pleated skirt, fitted top, stockings, and soft flats. My hair was carefully curled, makeup perfectly applied, and every detail scrutinized in the mirror. "You look perfect," Alexa said, circling me, her hands occasionally brushing my shoulders. "But perfection isn't enough. Today, you will learn obedience in a new way. Someone will watch, and Doll must perform flawlessly." My heart sank. Someone else? My stomach twisted. The previous public exposure had already left me raw, trembling, and hyper-aware of every gaze. The thought of another set of eyes, male this time, watching me as Doll made my cheeks burn. A knock echoed through the gym, and a young man, early 20s, entered. His eyes scanned the room until they landed on me. Alexa's smile widened. "This is Ryan," she introduced. "He'll be joining our session today. You will perform as Doll, and he will observe. Any hesitation, any mistake, you will start over, and we'll see what obedience really means." My throat went dry. Ryan's gaze lingered, curious, almost playful, and it sent shivers down my spine. My identity felt fragile, exposed, yet Doll's emerging presence pushed me forward. The session began with stretches, lunges, and squats, everything performed with precise feminine grace. Alexa guided me with a mix of sweetness and cruelty, correcting my posture, voice, and gestures. Every time I faltered, Ryan's gaze felt like a sharp reminder, judgment, admiration, and subtle desire. "Wider stance, Doll," Alexa instructed. "Smile slightly, gracefully. Every movement is under observation. Remember your role." I obeyed mechanically, feeling every inch of fabric, every sway of my skirt, every glance from Ryan. Humiliation, fear, and an odd thrill coursed through me. Doll was emerging more fully with each correction, each glance, each whispered command. By mid-session, exhaustion and emotional overload struck. My legs wobbled, cheeks flushed, and the weight of public scrutiny pressed on me. I stumbled slightly during a lunge, and Alexa's sharp voice cut through the room. "Doll, eyes up. Chin up. Obedience isn't optional." Again. Tears pricked my eyes. I couldn't hide the trembling, the fear, the shame. Ryan's gaze softened for a moment, and I felt an unexpected vulnerability. Doll's body responded, every move, every posture, like a puppet under Alexa's control. I can't," I whispered, voice breaking. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing hair from my flushed face. "You can, Doll. You will. Obedience is everything. You are beautiful, graceful, and submissive. You are Doll. Embrace it." The words struck deeply. Shame, thrill, humiliation, and desire collided, forcing Daniel further into the shadows and Doll more fully into the light. Alexa then directed me to approach Ryan. "Introduce yourself as Doll," she said, her voice soft but commanding. "You are not Daniel. You are beautiful, obedient, and perfect. Let him see it. Every word, every glance, every gesture, perfect." My voice trembled. I'm Doll," I whispered, barely audible. Ryan smiled faintly, eyes curious, admiring. Good, Alexa said. Now oppose.
Smile.
Walk gracefully. Remember, every eye is on you. You belong here now. I moved carefully, each step a careful calculation. The skirt swished softly against my legs, stockings smooth under my hands, and Doll's identity solidified with every glance, every whispered correction, every heartbeat. After the session, Alexa guided me to the full-length mirror. Doll's reflection stared back, flushed cheeks, wide eyes, delicate curves, and posture refined under her control. Do you see, Doll? She asked. Ryan saw it. Others will see it. Daniel is fading. Doll is emerging fully. This is discipline. This is obedience. And this is perfection. I shivered, tears rolling down my cheeks. Shame, thrill, and desire twisted inside me. Doll had emerged more completely than ever. My old self felt distant, fading irrelevant. Alexa's eyes gleamed with control. Tomorrow, Doll, you will face your first challenge outside the gym. Public admiration, scrutiny, and desire. Every step, every glance, every smile will be your test. Are you ready to prove who you are? My chest tightened, anticipation and fear coiling inside me. Doll had emerged, but the next test promised exposure, humiliation, and emotional intensity beyond anything I had yet experienced. The morning sun streamed through the blinds, painting my room in streaks of gold and shadow. My stomach twisted with nerves as I stared at the outfit Alexa had laid out the night before: a pastel skirt, a delicate blouse, stockings, and soft heels. Each item was meticulously chosen, every detail designed to emphasize Doll's femininity and obedience. I hesitated, fingers trembling over the fabric. The thought of leaving the safety of the gym, of walking through public spaces in full feminine attire, made my heart pound violently. You look perfect, Alexa said from the doorway, her presence dominating yet intoxicating. But perfection is meaningless if you hesitate. Out there, Doll, you will prove yourself. Every glance, every whisper, every stare is part of your training. As we stepped into the bustling mall, every step felt surreal. The sounds of chatter, laughter, and rolling carts mingled with the soft swish of my skirt against my thighs. My face burned with embarrassment, every glance from strangers piercing my fragile confidence. Alexa held my hand lightly, guiding me through the crowd. Head up, Doll. Smile slightly. Elegance and grace, she whispered. I obeyed, forcing a delicate smile, walking carefully to maintain balance in my heels. The world seemed magnified, the way people looked at me, the subtle shifts in their expressions, the whisper of admiration and curiosity. Alexa directed me toward a small cafe inside the mall. Order something, Doll. Speak politely, gracefully. Remember, Daniel doesn't exist here. You are Doll. Obedient. Beautiful. Perfect. I stepped forward, voice trembling. I'll have a latte, please, I whispered, barely audible. The barista's gaze lingered on me longer than necessary. My cheeks flushed crimson. Good, Alexa murmured. Now pay and smile. Obedience is everything. Every action was a test, every glance a reminder of my vulnerability. Doll was emerging more fully with each step, each word, each controlled motion. After coffee, Alexa guided me to the mall's central atrium. A small crowd of shoppers had gathered near the fountain, and she instructed me to perform stretches, poses, and delicate walks in front of them. My legs shook, heart racing, and humiliation burned in every nerve. Beautiful, Doll, Alexa said softly. Obedient, graceful. Let them see your perfection. Whispers and curious stares surrounded me. Some smiled in admiration, others glanced with subtle judgment. My body moved carefully, guided by her voice, hands, and corrections. Each correction, slight adjustment of posture, tilt of the head, lift of the chin, cemented Doll's identity further. By mid-session, exhaustion and shame overwhelmed me. My knees wobbled, heels pinched, and my chest tightened. I can't, I murmured, voice breaking. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing hair from my flushed face. You can, Doll. You will. Every glance, every stare, every whisper is a lesson. Obedience isn't optional. This is who you are now. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Shame, thrill, humiliation, and an unfamiliar desire to obey collided violently in my chest. Doll had replaced Daniel almost entirely, yet a faint whisper of my old self lingered, lost and confused. Later, in a private corner of the mall's restroom, Alexa forced me to look at my reflection in the mirror. Doll stared back, flushed cheeks, wide eyes, delicate curves, trembling legs. "Do you see, Doll?" she asked softly. "This is who you are. Daniel is gone. Doll is emerging fully. And the world has seen you. Tomorrow, we push further." I shivered, tears streaming. Shame, exhilaration, desire, and obedience intertwined. Doll's identity solidified with every passing moment, every public exposure, every whispered command. Alexa's eyes gleamed with dominance. "Tomorrow, Doll, you will meet someone from your past. Recognition, exposure, and humiliation. Every step, every glance, every smile will test your obedience and your identity. Are you ready?" My stomach twisted. Doll had emerged fully in public, yet the next test promised emotional intensity, confrontation, and identity challenges beyond anything I had faced. The next morning, I woke with a knot of anxiety in my chest that refused to loosen. Alexa had promised that today's session would challenge me in a way I hadn't experienced before. Public exposure was one thing, but recognition? That was a whole new level. "You're ready, Doll," she said, her voice soft yet commanding, as she inspected my outfit, a flowing skirt, fitted blouse, and delicate flats. "Today, someone from your past will see you. Your obedience, your grace, your transformation will be tested. Don't falter." My stomach twisted. I couldn't imagine anyone from my past seeing me like this, soft, feminine, and utterly exposed. We entered the local cafe, a place I had frequented in my old life. My heart raced as every step in my heels felt precarious, every swish of my skirt like an announcement of my vulnerability. Alexa guided me, whispering instructions on posture, smiles, and gestures. I forced a soft smile, head slightly tilted, hands delicate at my sides. Doll was alive, obedient, exposed, graceful, but Daniel lingered faintly beneath the surface, trembling with fear of recognition. I was placing an order, hands shaking slightly, when a voice rang out. "Ethan? Is that you?" Time froze. My blood ran cold. My past, my friend from high school, stood before me, eyes wide in disbelief. I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. Alexa stepped beside me, hand lightly brushing my shoulder. "Doll," she whispered, "handle it. Obedience, grace, perfection." I forced a trembling smile. Hi," I murmured, voice soft, feminine, unrecognizable even to myself. The recognition in his eyes made my heart hammer. Daniel's identity flickered painfully, threatened by Doll's emergence. Shame, humiliation, and a strange, forbidden thrill collided inside me. He approached cautiously, trying to reconcile the girl before him with the boy he once knew. I can't believe it. You look different. Beautiful." The words pierced me. Beautiful. Doll flinched at first, but then, slowly, my body reacted to the compliment. My cheeks flushed, and a warmth spread through me that I didn't fully understand. Alexa's presence reinforced my submission. "You see him, Doll?" she said softly, almost cruelly. "Admiration, recognition, every emotion is under your control. Move gracefully. Speak beautifully. Obedience isn't optional." I obeyed, voice soft, eyes wide, movements precise. Every step, every tilt of my head, every flutter of my lashes reminded me that Doll had replaced Daniel, that obedience and exposure were now my reality. After the encounter, I felt dizzy, trembling in a quiet corner of the cafe. Shame, exhilaration, humiliation, and desire collided violently. Doll had survived recognition, had performed flawlessly under scrutiny, and yet Daniel's old self whispered in my mind, questioning, resisting, and grieving what was lost. Alexa knelt beside me. "Do you feel it, Doll? That tension, that fear, that thrill? That is your new self-awakening. Daniel is fading. You are becoming perfect, obedient, beautiful, mine. Tears streamed down my cheeks. The mix of shame and satisfaction, humiliation and thrill, obedience and desire, tore me apart emotionally. Alexa's voice cut through the storm of emotions. Tomorrow, doll, you will face your first formal public display. A gathering, all eyes on you, every whisper and glance testing your obedience and your identity. Are you ready to show the world who you've become? My stomach twisted. Doll had survived recognition, humiliation, and internal conflict, but the next test promised exposure, scrutiny, and emotional intensity beyond anything I had yet faced. The day had arrived. Alexa had warned me days ago. Today would be the first true test of Doll's public identity. It wasn't just a mall or cafe visit. It was a gathering of friends, acquaintances, and strangers, all coming together under her direction. Every movement, every glance, every word would be scrutinized. My heart raced as I looked at my reflection, clad in a carefully chosen outfit, a pastel skirt that fell just above my knees, a fitted blouse emphasizing my new feminine curves, sheer stockings, and delicate heels. My hair was curled perfectly, makeup soft but striking, and my entire being poised for exposure. Do you see yourself, doll? Alexa asked, her voice soft yet commanding. Beautiful. Obedient. Perfect. This is who you are. Daniel is gone. I swallowed hard, legs trembling. The anticipation, fear, and humiliation twisted inside me like a storm. The venue was buzzing with chatter. Guests mingled, unaware of the transformation about to unfold. I followed Alexa closely, each step in my heels a reminder of my vulnerability. The swish of my skirt and the delicate tapping of my flats seemed magnified in the grand hall. Head high, doll. Smile slightly. Elegance and grace. Alexa whispered. Every eye is on you. Obedience is everything. I obeyed, heart pounding, as whispers and glances followed me. Some eyes were curious, some admiring, some judging. Every moment felt like a test. Alexa guided me to the center of the room, where a makeshift stage had been set. She instructed me to perform a series of movements, walking, posing, and gentle spins, each carefully choreographed to display grace, obedience, and beauty. Remember, doll, she said, hand brushing my shoulder. Every glance, every whisper is part of your lesson. Move gracefully. Smile delicately. Obedience isn't optional. I moved, trembling but precise. The skirt swished against my legs, stockings tight against my thighs, heels precarious yet steady. Every movement felt exaggerated under the crowd's gaze, every correction from Alexa reinforcing doll's emergence. Mistakes were punished immediately. A wobble, a misstep, or a hesitation brought a sharp glance, a whispered correction, or a subtle adjustment from Alexa. The humiliation was intense, raw, and all-consuming. Yet, when I executed a movement flawlessly, she smiled softly, her fingers brushing my shoulder, a small reward that sent shivers down my spine. The push and pull of cruelty and praise reshaped me. Shame, excitement, and obedience intertwined, leaving Daniel further in the past and doll fully present. After the initial display, Alexa instructed me to mingle. Introduce yourself as doll. Speak softly, gracefully. Let them see your obedience and beauty, she commanded. I approached groups of strangers, trembling, voice soft and melodic. Every compliment, every glance, every whispered admiration forced me to confront my vulnerability. Doll was fully alive, navigating a world that had once belonged solely to Daniel. Later, in a quiet corner, Alexa guided me to a full-length mirror. Doll stared back, flushed cheeks, wide eyes, delicate curves, and posture refined under her guidance. Do you see, doll? She asked softly. This is who you are. Daniel is gone. You have survived your first formal public display. Obedience, beauty, grace, you are perfect. Tears pricked my eyes. Shame, exhilaration, desire, and obedience collided violently. Doll had replaced Daniel almost entirely, yet a faint whisper of my old self lingered, fragile and distant. Alexa's eyes gleamed with control. Tomorrow, doll, you will face a new challenge. Another male observer, closer scrutiny, and emotional intensity. Every glance, every gesture, every word will test your obedience and your identity. Are you ready? My stomach twisted. Doll had survived public exposure, recognition, and humiliation, but the next test promised scrutiny, temptation, and emotional intensity beyond anything I had yet faced. The next day, I awoke with a pit in my stomach that refused to settle. Alexa's words from the night before echoed relentlessly. Today, doll, a new observer will watch. His presence will test everything: obedience, beauty, your control, your identity. My hands shook as I prepared my outfit. Pastel skirt, fitted blouse, stockings, and delicate heels, all meticulously selected to highlight doll's femininity. My curls framed my face perfectly, makeup soft yet accentuating my wide, expressive eyes. I looked at my reflection, feeling both pride and terror. "You are perfect," Alexa said, circling me, her gaze intense. "But perfection alone is meaningless. Today, you will face judgment, attention, and temptation. Doll, you must obey flawlessly." The gym was quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioning. Then the door opened, and a young man entered, tall, confident, and with eyes that immediately assessed me from head to toe. "This is Liam," Alexa introduced, her voice soft yet authoritative. "He will watch you, interact with you, and evaluate your obedience. Any hesitation, misstep, or doubt, and we start over. Do you understand?" I nodded, heart racing. The name, the presence, the intent, it all sent shivers down my spine. My palms were sweaty, body trembling, yet doll was rising to the surface, poised and obedient. The training began. Alexa directed me through stretches, poses, and delicate movements. Every step, every tilt of my head, every swish of my skirt was scrutinized, not just by Alexa, but by Liam's observing gaze. Wider stance. Chin up. Move gracefully, doll, Alexa instructed. Obedience isn't optional. Every movement must be perfect. I obeyed, trembling as humiliation, anxiety, and an odd thrill surged inside me. Liam's eyes followed me with curiosity, admiration, and subtle appraisal. I could feel every glance like a weight pressing against my chest, every whisper of thought amplified in my mind. By mid-session, my legs wobbled, heels pinching painfully, muscles straining. My chest tightened, and shame burned across my cheeks. I can't, I murmured, voice trembling, eyes wide. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing hair from my face. "You can, doll. You will. Obedience is everything. Beauty is obedience. You are doll. Perfect. Mine." Tears streamed down my cheeks. Shame, thrill, fear, and desire collided violently, forcing Daniel further into the background. Doll was fully emerging, yet the remnants of my old self whispered faintly, resisting, questioning, grieving. Alexa instructed me to interact with Liam. "Speak, doll. Smile. Obey. Let him see your grace and beauty," she commanded. I approached, voice soft, trembling. "Hi, I'm doll," I whispered. My words sounded alien to my own ears, melodic yet fragile. Liam smiled faintly, curiosity evident in his eyes. "You're beautiful," he said, "and graceful. I can see why Alexa has you here." The words pierced me. Doll flinched initially, then slowly, a warmth spread through me. Every compliment, every glance, every whispered observation reinforced my emerging feminine identity. After Liam left, I slumped in a corner, chest heaving, tears streaking my cheeks. Shame, humiliation, and an unfamiliar thrill churned inside me. Doll had survived scrutiny, attention, and temptation, but Daniel's voice lingered faintly, a whisper of resistance in the storm of my obedience. Alexa knelt beside me again. "Do you feel it, doll? That tension, that thrill, that fear? That is your new self-awakening. Daniel is fading. You are becoming perfect, obedient, beautiful. Mine." I shivered, heart racing, as Doll's identity cemented further with every passing moment of humiliation, obedience, and scrutiny. Alexa's eyes gleamed with dominance. "Tomorrow, Doll, you will face a true public test. A gathering, all eyes on you, admiration, jealousy, and desire. Every step, Every glance, every movement will challenge your obedience and your identity. Are you ready? My stomach twisted. Doll had survived scrutiny, observation, and emotional challenge, but the next public test promised intense exposure, emotional confrontation, and identity conflict beyond anything I had yet experienced. The evening arrived with a blend of excitement and terror swirling in my stomach. Alexa had prepared me for a new kind of challenge, my first major public event. Friends, acquaintances, and strangers would all be present, watching, judging, and interacting with Doll. The stakes felt impossibly high. Doll, Alexa said, her fingers brushing my shoulder. Tonight, the world will see you. Your obedience, grace, and beauty will be tested. Every gaze, every word, every movement is your lesson. Are you ready? I swallowed hard, chest tight, and nodded. Pastel skirt, fitted blouse, stockings, and heels were chosen with care, each item emphasizing Doll's femininity and fragility. My hair was curled to perfection, makeup soft yet striking, and every detail screamed vulnerability and obedience. The venue buzzed with laughter, chatter, and the clinking of glasses. I felt exposed from the moment I stepped inside, heels clicking against the polished floor. Every glance felt magnified, every whisper carried like thunder in my ears. Alexa guided me closely. Chin up, Doll. Smile lightly. Elegance and grace. Every eye is on you. I moved carefully, hips swaying subtly, skirt brushing my thighs, hands delicate at my sides. The world seemed overwhelming, yet Doll was alive, obedient, and hyper-aware of every detail. Alexa instructed me to mingle. Introduce yourself as Doll. Speak softly, gracefully. Let them see your obedience and beauty, she whispered. I moved through clusters of people, voice soft and melodic. Every compliment, every curious glance, every small gesture reinforced Doll's identity. My heart raced with shame, excitement, and a strange thrill I couldn't fully understand. Some whispered admiration. Some subtle jealousy. Others stared, judging my every move. Alexa's presence behind me reminded me that obedience was mandatory. Doll had to perform flawlessly. Midway through the event, Alexa led me to the center of the room. Show them, Doll. Walk.
Pose.
Smile. Every movement must be perfect. I stepped forward, trembling. Every step in my heels was precarious, every sway of my skirt deliberate. Whispers followed me. Some eyes admired, some envied, some silently judged. A misstep, a wobble in my heels, brought a sharp glance from Alexa. Focus, Doll. Obedience is everything. Correct yourself. I straightened, correcting my posture, heart pounding, cheeks flushed. Shame, fear, and exhilaration collided. Doll's identity solidified further under pressure. Later, in a quiet corner, a young man approached. His eyes were warm, curious, and kind. You're beautiful, he said softly. And graceful. I've never seen anyone move like that. The words pierced me. My cheeks burned, warmth spreading through my body. Shame, thrill, humiliation, and desire collided. Doll's identity was rising more fully, but Daniel's old self whispered faintly, lost, uncertain, yet still present. Tears pricked my eyes. Alexa knelt beside me. Do you feel it, Doll? That tension, that thrill, that fear? That is your new self-awakening. Daniel is fading. You are becoming perfect, obedient, beautiful. Mine. Alexa's gaze turned intense, almost predatory. Tomorrow, Doll, a new challenge awaits. A public outing, an observer from your past, and heightened scrutiny. Every step, every word, every gesture will push your obedience and identity to the limit. Are you ready? My stomach tightened. Doll had survived scrutiny, admiration, social exposure, and emotional bonding, but the next challenge promised identity confrontation, temptation, and humiliation beyond anything I had faced. The morning sun filtered through my curtains, warm yet torturous, reminding me of the challenge Alexa had promised. Today's outing would not be like the others. Today, someone from my past, a friend, someone who knew Daniel intimately, would confront Doll in public. Exposure, humiliation, and temptation awaited, threatening to unravel the fragile identity I had built. Alexa entered my room, her eyes scanning me critically. "Doll," she said softly, yet with undeniable authority, "today is the day your past collides with your present. Your obedience will be tested, your identity challenged. Every glance, every word, every gesture must reflect perfection. Are you ready?" I swallowed hard, fingers trembling over my pastel skirt and fitted blouse. My hair was curled meticulously, makeup flawless, and every detail screamed doll's femininity. Yet Daniel's whispers, lost beneath obedience, still lingered faintly, fragile and resistant. We arrived at a quiet corner cafe, one I had frequented often as Daniel. The memories hit me instantly, the laughter, conversations, and the casual familiarity of the place now felt alien. My heels clicked softly on the floor as Alexa guided me to a table by the window. "Sit with grace," she instructed. "Obedience, doll. Every movement is observed. Every reaction is measured." I lowered myself into the chair, legs crossed delicately, skirt swishing softly. My reflection in the window showed a perfect doll, soft, feminine, obedient, but the weight of anticipation pressed heavily on me. Then I saw him, Lucas, my childhood friend, approaching with curiosity and disbelief in his eyes. His mouth opened slightly. "Daniel?" he asked hesitantly, voice catching. My heart skipped. I froze, the shock colliding with shame and fear. Alexa's hand brushed my shoulder, grounding me. "Doll," she whispered, "respond. Obedience, grace, perfection. Daniel is gone." I forced a soft, melodic voice. "Hi, I'm Doll," I whispered. My words sounded strange, foreign even to myself, yet carried the delicate vulnerability Alexa demanded. Lucas's eyes widened, confusion and fascination mingling. You look different. Beautiful. I mean, the words pierced me. Doll flinched initially, then a warmth spread through me, an unfamiliar thrill mingling with humiliation. Every compliment, every lingering glance, every subtle attention reinforced Doll's presence. Alexa leaned close, whispering softly, "Feel it, Doll. Desire, shame, thrill, they are yours to obey. Every emotion, every reaction is part of your training. Obedience is beauty." I shivered, chest tight, as shame and desire collided violently. My fingers trembled, lips parted slightly, and the line between humiliation and thrill blurred. After Lucas left, I slumped in my chair, overwhelmed by conflicting emotions. Shame, desire, exhilaration, and obedience churned inside me. Doll had survived recognition, temptation, and public scrutiny, yet Daniel's voice whispered faintly, lost, resistant, and grieving. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing tears from my cheeks. "Do you feel it, Doll? That tension, that thrill, that shame? That is your new self-awakening. Daniel is fading. You are becoming perfect, obedient, beautiful. Mine." Tears ran freely as Doll's identity solidified further, every moment of exposure, recognition, and obedience cementing her place. Alexa's gaze turned sharp, commanding, and predatory. "Tomorrow, Doll, you will face your most challenging test yet. A public outing, an audience of strangers, and a new admirer. Every glance, every gesture, every word will push your obedience and identity to the edge. Are you ready?" My stomach tightened. Doll had survived public exposure, recognition, temptation, and emotional struggle, but the next test promised intense scrutiny, desire, and psychological tension beyond anything I had faced. The day of the public outing arrived like a storm I could neither predict nor escape. Alexa had meticulously planned every detail, and I could feel her control tightening around me like a velvet trap. My heart raced, each beat echoing the fear and anticipation that churned within. "Doll," she said softly yet firmly, circling me with a predatory grace. "Today, the world watches. Every eye, every whisper, every step will measure your obedience, your grace, and your beauty. You will walk, speak, and move exactly as I instruct. Daniel does not exist. Only Doll." I nodded, swallowing hard, legs trembling. Pastel skirt, delicate blouse, stockings, and heels, every detail carefully chosen to maximize my femininity, clung to me as if confirming my vulnerability. My curls were perfect, makeup flawless, and yet the mirror reflected a face I barely recognized, a hybrid of shame, obedience, and desire. We arrived at the bustling city center, a mix of shoppers, street performers, and casual passers-by. Every glance felt magnified, every whispered comment amplified. Alexa guided me with subtle touches, correcting posture, adjusting skirts, and reminding me of my role. Chin up, doll. Shoulders back. Move gracefully. Every gaze counts, she whispered. I obeyed, heels clicking against the pavement, skirt swishing with each step. My heart raced as people looked, pointed, and whispered. Shame, fear, and thrill blended into a disorienting cocktail, but doll moved flawlessly under Alexa's guidance. Alexa directed me to a cafe terrace where a small crowd had gathered. Interact, doll. Smile softly, speak delicately. Let them see your obedience and beauty, she instructed. I approached cautiously, voice trembling yet melodic. Compliments flowed, some admiring, some envious, all testing my composure. Each glance, each word reinforced doll's presence. My chest tightened with every whisper of desire and judgment, the lines between humiliation, thrill, and obedience blurring. A man approached, confident, eyes scanning me from head to toe. You're stunning, he said, voice low and intrigued. Graceful, delicate. Are you real? The words sent shivers down my spine. Doll's identity surged forward with obedience and subtle pride, yet Daniel's faint whispers of resistance lingered, fragile and quiet. Alexa guided me to a full-length mirror in a nearby store display. Doll stared back, delicate curves, flushed cheeks, wide eyes, and perfect posture. See, doll. Alexa whispered, hand brushing my shoulder. This is who you are. Daniel is fading. You are perfect, obedient, and beautiful. Every gaze, every word, every glance reinforces your transformation. Embrace it. Tears blurred my vision as shame, thrill, humiliation, and desire collided. Doll had fully taken hold, yet Daniel's whispers remained, a faint echo beneath the storm of emotions. Alexa then issued a new test. I had to order coffee, interact with strangers, and maintain perfect composure while she subtly questioned my obedience, testing my patience and emotional balance. Every mistake, a hesitation, a stutter, a blush, was met with a sharp glance or soft correction. Obedience became both punishment and reward. The thrill of humiliation, the sting of control, and the rush of praise intertwined, pushing me to the edge of my psychological endurance. Alexa's eyes gleamed with dominance. Tomorrow, doll, the ultimate test awaits. A gathering, attention, temptation, and scrutiny unlike anything before. Every step, every gesture, every word will determine how far you've truly transformed. Are you ready? My stomach tightened. Doll had survived public outing, social scrutiny, psychological tension, and recognition, but the next challenge promised intense exposure, emotional confrontation, and the ultimate test of obedience and identity. The morning was crisp, the sun shining brightly over the city streets. Yet, I felt nothing but an icy pit of dread twisting in my stomach. Alexa had promised this day would be unlike any other, a true test of doll's obedience, beauty, and emotional endurance. Every step, every glance, every word would be scrutinized, judged, and challenged. Doll, Alexa said as she adjusted my skirt and brushed a stray curl behind my ear. Today, your obedience will be tested like never before. Temptation, attention, and scrutiny await. You must remain perfect. Daniel does not exist. Doll is all there is. I nodded, trembling. Pastel skirt, delicate blouse, stockings, and heels, every detail carefully chosen to amplify my femininity, clung to me. My reflection in the mirror revealed doll fully formed, yet beneath her, Daniel's voice whispered faintly, resisting, questioning, but fading under the weight of obedience. Alexa led me to a grand evening gala, filled with influential guests, acquaintances, and strangers. Crystal chandeliers glittered overhead, music hummed softly, and the atmosphere was thick with expectation. Every pair of eyes felt magnified, every whispered comment slicing through me. Chin up, doll. Walk gracefully. Every movement is observed. Every glance counts, Alexa whispered, hand firm on my shoulder. I stepped forward, heels clicking delicately against the polished floor. Each swish of my skirt, tilt of my head, and sway of my hips felt magnified, exaggerated, as though the world itself watched my every motion. Doll moved flawlessly, every nerve in my body screaming with shame, excitement, and obedience. Midway through the gala, a young man approached, tall, confident, with an air of authority. His gaze swept over me, lingering, assessing. "You're stunning," he said softly. "Graceful, delicate, and utterly captivating." The words pierced me. Heat rose to my cheeks, breath caught in my throat. Doll flinched initially, then a warmth spread through me, an unfamiliar thrill mingling with humiliation. Every compliment, every lingering glance, every subtle attention reinforced Doll's presence, pushing Daniel further into the shadows. Alexa leaned close, whispering softly, "Feel it, Doll. That tension, that thrill, it is yours to obey. Every emotion, every reaction, strengthens your transformation. Obedience is beauty." I shivered, chest tight, as shame and desire collided violently. My fingers trembled, lips parted slightly, and Doll's identity solidified further. Alexa then guided me through a series of public interactions designed to challenge my composure. I had to speak, move, and pose flawlessly in front of a circle of influential guests. Any hesitation, blush, or misstep would trigger immediate correction. Sharp glances, whispered instructions, or gentle but firm touches. I obeyed, trembling, every word and movement deliberate. Whispers followed me, admiration and curiosity mixed with judgment and envy. Doll was alive, performing flawlessly, yet the intensity of exposure left my chest tight, cheeks flushed, and body trembling. By the evening's midpoint, my legs ached, heels pinched painfully, and the weight of scrutiny became unbearable. Humiliation, desire, and obedience collided violently, forcing tears to my eyes. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing them away. "Do you feel it, Doll? That tension, that thrill, that shame? That is your new self-awakening. Daniel is fading. You are becoming perfect, obedient, beautiful. Mine." I shivered, chest tight, as Doll's identity fully took hold. The last remnants of Daniel were a faint whisper beneath the storm of emotions, unable to resist the full force of obedience, humiliation, and thrill. Alexa's eyes gleamed with dominance and promise. "Tomorrow, Doll, the final test begins. A gathering of strangers, public exposure, and temptation unlike anything before. Every step, every gesture, every word will determine if you remain Doll or if Daniel resurfaces. Are you ready?" My stomach tightened. Doll had survived scrutiny, recognition, temptation, social pressure, and psychological tests, but the final challenge promised the ultimate test of identity, obedience, and emotional endurance. The morning dawned heavy with tension. Today was the day Alexa had promised would decide everything, the ultimate confrontation, the final test of obedience, and the moment where Doll's identity would either cement fully or crumble back into Daniel. My heart thudded violently in my chest as I dressed carefully under her watchful gaze. "Doll," Alexa said, her voice soft yet commanding, "today, every step, every word, every glance will determine your future. You will face temptation, scrutiny, and choice. Obedience is the only path to perfection. Are you ready?" I nodded silently, fingers trembling over the delicate blouse and pastel skirt. Doll was fully present, yet the faint echo of Daniel's voice whispered through me. We arrived at an elegant ballroom filled with guests, strangers, acquaintances, and familiar faces who had witnessed my transformation in some way. Every eye was on me, every gaze magnified by the pressure of expectation. My heels clicked softly on the polished floor, skirt swishing with deliberate grace. Alexa's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. "Chin up, Doll. Every movement counts. Remember, obedience is beauty, and beauty is obedience." As I navigated the crowd, I felt the weight of attention. Whispers of admiration, subtle envy, and hushed curiosity followed me like a trail of invisible threads. Then, a man I had admired from afar approached, a mixture of confidence, charm, and subtle dominance in his gaze. "You're exquisite," he murmured. "I've never seen someone move like that, so delicate, so captivating." Heat flushed my cheeks. Every word, every glance, every subtle smile reinforced Dahl's presence while pushing Daniel further into the background. Obedience, humiliation, and thrill intertwined into an overwhelming torrent that left my knees weak and heart racing. Alexa leaned close, whispering, "Feel it, Dahl. Every glance, every thought, every desire, obey. Obedience is power. Obedience is beauty. You are mine." I shivered, body trembling, as the full weight of Dahl's transformation solidified. Later, Alexa guided me to a mirrored wall where my reflection was impossible to ignore. Dahl stared back, flawless, delicate, feminine, while the faint echo of Daniel's old self lingered, questioning, hesitant. "You see, Dahl?" Alexa whispered, brushing my hair from my face. "Every step, every word, every glance has led you here. Daniel is fading. You are perfect, obedient, beautiful.
Mine.
The choice is yours, obedience and perfection, or rebellion and regret." Tears filled my eyes. Shame, humiliation, thrill, and desire collided violently. Every fiber of my being screamed, yet Dahl's obedience surged forward, fully consuming the hesitant whispers of Daniel. Finally, alone with Alexa, I collapsed into her arms. The weight of the past, the fear of exposure, the thrill of attention, all of it collided in a single emotional storm. "You are beautiful, Dahl," she murmured. "Perfect. Obedient.
Mine."
Every step, every glance, every word has brought you here." I sobbed, trembling, yet inside, a strange peace began to settle. Dahl was no longer an act. She was real, obedient, beautiful, and fully alive. The final test had proven it. Daniel was gone, replaced entirely by the persona Alexa had carefully nurtured. Alexa pulled back slightly, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. "Tomorrow, Dahl, we step into the world without limits. Every gaze, every word, every step is yours to command. You are perfect, obedient, beautiful. Mine." A bittersweet shiver ran through me. Dahl had survived temptation, scrutiny, public exposure, emotional collapse, and identity confrontation. The journey was complete, but the world outside awaited, full of eyes ready to test, admire, and judge. The next morning, sunlight poured through the windows, warm and promising, yet my nerves buzzed with a familiar tension. Today, Dahl would step fully into the world, not as a shadow of Daniel, not as a timid experiment, but as a public figure of obedience, beauty, and fascination. Alexa had meticulously planned everything, every detail designed to reinforce Dahl's perfection and ensure the transformation was irreversible in both mind and identity. "Dahl," Alexa said, adjusting my skirt and curling a stray lock of hair, "today, the world watches you. Every step, every glance, every word will affirm your identity. Obedience is perfection. Perfection is beauty. You are ready." I nodded, heart fluttering, stomach tight. Pastel skirt, delicate blouse, stockings, and heels clung to me, emphasizing every feminine curve. My reflection in the mirror revealed Dahl fully realized, obedient, fragile, yet undeniably captivating. Daniel's voice was now a distant echo, lost beneath the weight of Dahl's presence. Stepping out into the city streets, every gaze felt magnified. Passers-by turned their heads, whispers trailing in my wake. My heels clicked softly against the pavement, skirt swishing delicately, fingers brushing lightly against the fabric as Alexa guided me with subtle touches. "Chin up, Dahl," she whispered. "Every movement counts. You are perfect. Every eye reinforces your transformation." I moved with precision, each step deliberate, hips swaying subtly, shoulders back, every motion a testament to obedience. The thrill of attention, the humiliation of exposure, and the strange pride of performance collided inside me, leaving my chest tight and cheeks flushed. Alexa guided me through cafes, boutique shops, and galleries. Each encounter demanded poise, elegance, and obedience. Compliments flowed, some admiring, some envious, all reinforcing Dahl's identity. "You're beautiful. A young man said softly in a cafe, voice low and mesmerized. So graceful, delicate, perfect. Heat flushed my cheeks. Doll's identity surged, every compliment, every lingering gaze, every subtle interaction affirming her presence, while Daniel's faint whispers continued to fade. Alexa leaned close, whispering, "Feel it, doll. Obedience is power. Obedience is beauty. You are mine." During a brief pause at a boutique, I found a full-length mirror. Doll stared back, perfect, delicate, feminine, and fully realized. The reflection confirmed every lesson Alexa had drilled into me: posture, sway, expression, obedience, and allure. Tears pricked my eyes as shame, thrill, pride, and obedience collided. Doll was no longer a shadow of Daniel. She was fully alive, fully obedient, fully beautiful. Every misstep from the past seemed distant, irrelevant, and conquered. Throughout the day, the attention grew. Admiration from strangers, whispered envy, subtle flirtations. Each interaction reinforced Doll's identity, every glance and comment solidifying obedience and feminine presence. Alexa's subtle dominance never waned, guiding, correcting, praising, but always ensuring the full transformation. I felt a mix of humiliation, thrill, and pride unlike anything before. Doll moved gracefully, spoke softly, laughed delicately, and absorbed the world's attention like a delicate but radiant flower, completely obedient and aware of her power and submission. That evening, back in Alexa's apartment, I collapsed onto the couch, exhausted but exhilarated. My legs ached, heels pinched painfully, and my chest burned with emotion. Alexa knelt beside me, brushing stray curls from my face. "You've done perfectly, doll," she murmured. "Obedience, beauty, and grace, you embody them fully. Daniel is gone. You are perfect. Mine." I shivered, a bittersweet smile curling my lips. Shame, thrill, obedience, pride, and exhilaration intertwined. Doll was real. Daniel's old self was a distant memory, a whisper in the past, completely replaced by the obedient, beautiful, and perfected doll. Alexa's gaze turned predatory yet approving. "Tomorrow, doll, we explore the world fully. Attention, admiration, and temptation will follow you everywhere. Obedience is perfection, and perfection is your new life. Are you ready?" My stomach tightened. Doll had survived ultimate emotional confrontation, public exposure, temptation, and identity cementing, but the world outside awaited. A stage for total acceptance, attention, and daily reinforcement of obedience and feminine perfection. The morning sun spilled gold across the city, but I felt no tension this time, only a strange, liberating calm. Doll had survived the trials, the scrutiny, the humiliation, and the temptation. Daniel's whispers were gone, replaced entirely by obedience, beauty, and presence. Today marked the beginning of life fully lived as Doll, a life of public attention, admiration, and subtle domination, yet still under Alexa's careful control. "Doll," Alexa said, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, "today, the world watches you fully. Every step, every word, every glance will reaffirm your perfection. Obedience is power, beauty, and life. You are ready." I nodded, sliding into my pastel skirt, delicate blouse, stockings, and heels. Each item hugged my frame perfectly, emphasizing Doll's curves and softness. My reflection revealed a face and body entirely transformed, a living embodiment of Alexa's careful guidance and domination. Stepping onto the bustling city streets, every gaze followed me. Strangers whispered, admired, and occasionally stared openly. My heels clicked delicately on the pavement, skirt swishing softly, fingers brushing the fabric unconsciously as I walked with deliberate grace. "Chin up, doll," Alexa murmured, hand lightly on my shoulder. "Every eye validates your transformation. Obedience is beauty." I smiled softly, heart racing at the attention. Doll was alive, fully obedient, fully beautiful, fully captivating. Each compliment, each subtle glance, each whispered remark cemented the identity that had grown from timid Daniel into perfected Doll. Alexa guided me through a series of social events, a gallery, a boutique, and a cafe, each designed to reinforce public acceptance. Strangers complimented my elegance and delicacy. Men and women alike were captivated by Doll's presence, admiration mingling with subtle envy and curiosity. "You're exquisite," one young man murmured at a cafe, eyes wide with fascination. "So delicate, so graceful." Heat flushed my cheeks, pleasure mixed with a strange, delicious humiliation. Alexa leaned close, whispering, "Feel it, Doll. Every glance, every word, every thought reinforces your obedience. You are mine. You are perfect." Every interaction further erased Daniel, replacing him with the obedient, beautiful, and captivating Doll. Later, in a quiet boutique, I faced a full-length mirror. Doll stared back, perfect, delicate, and undeniably feminine. My posture, my gaze, my expression, every element was flawless. Tears pricked my eyes, a mixture of shame, pride, and exhilaration. Doll had emerged fully, no longer a shadow or experiment. Daniel was gone. Every glance, every word, every step had led to this final, irreversible transformation. Alexa touched my shoulder lightly. "You are beautiful, obedient, and perfect. This is your life now."
Mine.
Every day, every step, every moment reinforces your identity. I shivered, overwhelmed by the mix of emotion, pride, and obedience. Doll was real, alive, and fully accepted, not just by the world, but by myself. Throughout the day, attention followed me. Whispers, stares, and subtle flirtations tested and reaffirmed my obedience. Each encounter was a challenge and a reinforcement, a delicate balance of thrill, humiliation, and validation. "Doll," Alexa whispered during a quiet moment, "this is your life now." Admired, envied, and perfectly obedient. Every temptation, every glance, every word only strengthens who you are. "You are mine, perfected and beautiful." I nodded, a smile curling on my lips. Shame, thrill, obedience, and pride blended into a singular sensation. Doll had fully emerged, obedient, beautiful, captivating, and alive. As night fell, Alexa guided me back to our apartment. I collapsed onto the couch, exhausted but exhilarated. My legs ached from heels, cheeks burned from attention, but my heart swelled with an undeniable truth. "You've done it, Doll," Alexa whispered, brushing a curl from my face. "Obedience, beauty, and grace, you embody them fully. Daniel is gone. Doll is alive.
Perfect.
Mine." I shivered, tears of relief and pride rolling down my cheeks. The journey had been long, painful, and thrilling, but the result was undeniable. Doll was real, alive, and fully accepted, both in the world and within myself. Alexa's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Tomorrow, Doll, the world sees you without limits. Every step, every glance, every word is yours to command and perfect. Obedience is life, beauty, and power. You are fully transformed. Mine." I smiled softly, feeling the weight of past trials dissolve. Doll had survived public exposure, temptation, humiliation, social scrutiny, and emotional collapse, emerging fully as the obedient, beautiful, and perfected Doll.